Welcome problem solving fans to another problem of the day, and this one is all about area and perimeter. And we've got two questions here, so let's get on with question A. Question A says the area of a square is 64 metres squared. So that's 64 metres squared. What is the perimeter of the square? Well, to find the area of a square or a rectangle, you do length times width, or L times W for short. So length times width must equal 64. But in a square, the length and the width are the same. So we need two numbers which are the same number times together to make 64. And those of you who know your times tables will know that it's 8 times 8 is 64. Therefore, it must be 8 by 8. It must be an 8 by 8 square. But we are actually being asked to find the perimeter. So if it's an 8 by 8 square, the perimeter is the distance around the outside. So if it's 8 down this side and 8 along the bottom, because it's a square, all sides are the same. So this side must be 8 and the top side must be 8 as well. So therefore we've got all four sides being 8. 8, 8, 8 and 8. Remember, all of these are in metres. So the perimeter of the square is going to be 4 lots of 8 metres, which is 32 metres. Remember, area is in metres squared and perimeter is just a distance, so that is going to be in metres. Now for question B, we have a rectangle, and it says a rectangle is 2 centimetres longer than it is wide. The perimeter of the rectangle is 44 centimetres. Find the area of the rectangle. Now it does say you may find it useful to draw a bar model, so we'll give that a go. Well, if we start with the width of the rectangle and call that the width, we are told that it is 2 centimetres longer than it is wide. So the length of this rectangle must be the width plus an extra 2 centimetres. So basically we can draw an extra width on the end plus an extra 2. And this width plus 2 would be the same as the length. But we know that the perimeter of the rectangle is 44. Now remember, 44 is all the way round the outside of the rectangle, but if all the way round is 44, then halfway round must be 22. So halfway equals 22 centimetres. And remember, halfway round is one of the lengths plus one of the widths. So halfway round is one of the lengths plus one of the widths. And our bar model is showing one of the lengths, which is the width plus 2, plus one of the widths. And we know that one of the lengths plus one of the widths must be 22. So this whole distance on the bar must be worth 22 centimetres. But if we take off the 2 on the end, then that leaves 20. And then the 20 needs to be split equally between this bar and this bar, which leaves that being 10 in each bar. So therefore the width must be worth 10 and the length must be worth 10 plus the extra 2, which would be 12. This means that we're dealing with a rectangle whose width is 10 centimetres and whose length is 12 centimetres. And that fits in with the original clues. A rectangle is 2 centimetres longer than it is wide. And we are actually being asked to find the area. Well, the area would be length times width, which is going to be 12 times 10. And 12 times 10 is 120 centimetres squared. Just to double check that this fits in with the other clue, that the perimeter is 44. Well, if the width is 10, then that means that the other width on the other side would also be 10, and the other length on the top side would also be 12. And if you add those together, 10, 10, 12 and 12. Well, 10 plus 12 is 22, and the other 10 plus 12 is another 22, and the two 22s together makes the 44 centimetres that it tells us the perimeter is here. So that all seems to fit in. So the final answer is that the area of the rectangle is 120 centimetres squared.